to CAN Tutorials. In this video, I will be showing you how to create a new layer in Adobe CS6 Photoshop. Let's get started. Now, as you can see, I have already created an image, and in the image, I have different layers. So each item that you see here is its own layer. For example, if you go to the right-hand side of your layers palette, you will see my different layers. Apples, tree leaves, tree, more leaves. So these are my layers. Now let's say you want to add a new layer. Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is go to the bottom of the screen and click right here, and that will create a new layer. Or you would go to the upper menu bar, click Layer, and click New Layer. You could give your layer a name, which is highly recommended. So let's say I'm going to call this Ground Leaves. Click OK. So another way to rename your layer is to double click on the name and give it a title. So Ground Leaves 2. So that is how you give it a name. Now I don't need two of these, so to delete a layer, I'm just going to drag it and move it down to my trash box. And there it is, all gone. Or what you could do is right click and choose delete layer. I'm not going to do that because I actually do want to keep this layer. So it's important to know that there are multiple ways to do something in Photoshop. Nothing is ever just one thing. You have multiple options for doing something. So in this layer, I actually want to add something from a previous image. So for example, I already have an option open, and I want to add these leaves to my new image right here. So what I would do is simply drag the leaves, don't let it go, all the way up until you reach the document you want it in, don't let go yet, and then you just place it down in your image. And what you should notice is that since I've dragged it, I've also dragged the name of that layer. So to go back to the image, click there, and see how I had named it leaves. Typo, sorry. But it also drags the name here as well. So that is how you drag a layer from a different document into your new document. So let's just put things in order. Since I created each item on its own layer, that means I could move each one whichever way that I want. So for example, let's make a tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the tree leaf layer and see how I can just drag it wherever I want. So I'm going to drag it there. Next, I'm going to click on the apples layer and drag the apples on top of the tree leaves. And then since this is blocking these leaves, I'm going to click on the leaves layer and just move it out of the way. Maybe right here, that'd be fine. And so that's how you move your layers. So I have this blank layer, ground leaves, that I created, but actually I'm not going to need that anymore. So I'm just going to right click and choose delete layer. Yes. Now I can also create an object on a new layer. So let's click new layer. Here's my new layer. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it the sun, because that is what it's going to be. I'm going to draw the sun. So what I'm going to do now is head to my elliptical marquee tool. You want to hold it down so you could choose it. So here it is. Click on that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is from my swatches, choose the color that I want it to be. So I can do that, and then here it is in my foreground. Next thing I'm going to do is just draw a circle, and I'm going to hold down the shift button so that it is an appropriate circle. So here, while I'm doing that, I will show you the width and the height of that circle. There's two ways I could fill this. The first way is clicking on my paint bucket tool or using G on your keyboard and just clicking on the circle. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to go back on my history panel. Another way to do it is going to new fill, solid color, okay, and there is my sun.